Here we are with a new episode of Quiz the Music Man. I'm Tony Underwood. I'm the Music Man. So I'm blogging this and vlogging it. So it's going to be a little crazy, and I'm my own cameraman, which can have its problems, let me tell you. But anyhow, here we are, and it's a fine Saturday morning in Central Florida. And we've got some cool things here today to talk about. So, what's happening in the world? It's not good. It's a lot of things happening. A lot of crazy things happening in this world. And personally, I'm working on a little video project for Mr. Ridley Scott. That's right, you know him from Alien and all kind of things. Actually, me and millions of other people. He has a day in the life video thing that he does. He did it 10 years ago. He's doing it again. It's today. So if you want, just film yourself. Go to YouTube and look at A Day in the Life Ridley Scott, and you'll have a little short video pop up, and we'll give you all the details and so forth. And be a good thing for you to do. I'm doing it. I've got no plans, no nothing. I just filmed a little bit here not long ago, and I'm going to film a few more things throughout the day and just throw it in there. What could hurt? So what are we going to talk about today? Well, in the music industry, people are dropping albums. People are doing live concerts, but they're live streaming them. So that's, I think, the key right now. And while you don't have anything to do, if you're a musician or an artist or a performing artist, perform your art. Do Facebook Lives. And, you know, Facebook Live is easy. You simply go to your Facebook page. If you don't have one, make one. It's free. Download the app. And you can, actually on my personal one, it actually says live. You just press live. You can, now on Facebook, if you go into the settings, if you click the little, looks like tools, and then you'll see some screens that look like little bitty screens that have cut in half. You can flip it back over, because right now this is my left hand, even though it looks like my right hand on this video, because I haven't figured out how to flip it in YouTube yet. I'm just using the actual YouTube app to record this to save space on my phone. But in Facebook you can flip it and perform your music. So how do you do that? Well, you just do what I just did in this. You turn the thing on, you say hello, and you start performing. Don't worry about microphones, any of that stuff. If you're doing a background music, which I do many times, I put on a karaoke track or a track I've recorded. Just turn it up where you can hear it. Now I face the monitors and speakers toward me as I'm singing. They're my monitors, and that way I can keep the sound up loud enough for me to sing, and yet it not be too loud for the recording. But you can figure that out. You can do a test and not post it. So you just do your little test, and then it'll actually automatically replay, and you can tell if you can hear it from your phone. And if you can't, move things around or turn them up. A lot of times I'll put my phone on a music stand or put something hard behind it, or maybe tilted. So if your microphone is here, you're going to want something kind of tilted. This is flat, tilted like this, just behind it or below it, to help the sound reflect up. But with these new mics, you really don't have to do that. And if you think about it, think, well, it's just a phone. I'd rather buy a mic. Look, these phones would sell if it was just an open market sell. Any top phone would be $2,000 or $2,500. They're selling them at a massive discount in order to get you on the plan, and that's how they recoup their money. Even now, I don't think these things, maybe some of the older models, but they change them so often. So if you think about that, one of the biggest things, other than you've got the screen and the battery and the sensors are getting pretty cheap, is the camera and the microphone. So they might spend $250 on those, maybe $500, I don't know. And if you multiply that out, I mean, if something that costs $250 to produce, the consumer is going to pay $1,000 for it. So that'd be like going out and buying at least a $200-$300 mic, and probably more. The other thing is, this is software. The computer version of the mic really makes it exceptional. Where most mics you get, it's just a dead piece of equipment. It just receives sound waves. So it's a big upgrade. So your mic on your phone is going to be fine. You can fiddle with a few things. You can actually buy they look like little curved cups that fit on the back of your phone that help gather in. And then if you want to, you can buy fairly cheap plug-in mics. But I found that doesn't really make a big deal, because most people listen to music on their phone or their headphones. So just test it. Do a test, do a post, do an actual couple songs, and then have your friends listen and ask them, can they hear this, can they not hear that. Now, you can also do an Instagram live and then post it to IGTV, which is their longer version of videos, and it'll post a small clip to your story. You can also post the day before or the hour before or the day of on your stories on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and do a TikTok, and just really build it up, let people know. And that's how you do your live streaming and perform your art. And try to be engaging. Tell the people a little bit about yourself and what's going on. Tell them about your art. What'd you write that song for? Tell them all those things people might want to hear, how your day's going, and then ask them. And then when they respond, if they like something, get back on the social media and say, oh, thank you so much for listening to my music. What kind of music do you usually listen to? If they're in a different country, I always ask, how's it out there? What's it like in Spain? What kind of cool things are you doing? What's popular? What music is popular? Can you send me a link to a popular artist or somebody you listen to? Are there any songs you would like to hear me perform? And engage them. And I always, too, I kind of troll their social media side. I had a few people. One dude was an amateur photographer and took a lot of photographs of warships, which I know is nobody's big bag. I'm not a big deal, but I really appreciate machinery, boats, cars, motorcycles, planes, you name it. And I've been on many warships, going and looking at them in open houses, and he did just these cool pictures. And even if I didn't like ships, the fact that the artistry of the pictures, and I told him that, and I wasn't trying to butter him up, but it's just something I had seen and really appreciated, and I let him know that. So that's how you can keep yourself going in this this world. Make sure if you're writing and recording music and releasing it, that you go to your company like BMI or ASCAP and register yourself. You can go online and read about that. And then you're going to need somebody to aggregator, I call them, like a CD Baby or DistroKid or there's any number. Then you're going to go on Sound Exchange and register these places. And if you don't know about it, go to CD Baby and read all of their resources on how to do what you're supposed to do. There's also a cool video on YouTube. It's by what to do before you put your music on SoundCloud. It's the South Florida Music Exchange, something like that. You can Google that or YouTube it and figure that out. So anyway, that's what you can do in a pandemic when you're locked in or you don't have a job. Do your art. Be consistent. Let people know when you're going to do it, what you're going to do it. Ask them what they would like and engage with them afterwards. And just push on. You know, you can do it. So let's talk today about guitars. Now, what kind of guitar should you have? You should probably start, I'm going to use a book here, you know, the old, just the guitar. If you see like a country western person, see this guitar this dude has in his hand right there. That's the kind of guitar. It's just a, you know, an acoustic guitar. It might be electric. It's steel stringed. For most people, that's all they need. Now, you can get a classical guitar with nylon strings, and the guitar is a little different. But your basic, and you can get them for $100 out there. Or you usually in the family, there's some. You can get one from a family member. Get you some new strings, put them on. You can Google all that. And then as you go, you're going to want just every guitar out there, and probably will buy every guitar out there. So anyway, so what I'm going to review is an Ovation Celebrity. So I'll let you take a look at this sucker. If you're looking in the video, you can see. You can see it looks a little strange. Little strange, yeah. What is it? What's the deal? Got these holes way up here, and the back's round, and it's just, I don't look like no guitar to me. What is it gonna do? It's just a guitar. And I always like to ask why. Dang old why. Well, I performed several times in a day, weekly, at a church, and I was always switching guitars because you have a different service. You have a traditional, what they call a traditional service, which is, you know, you go in, there's the organ, and everybody sings hymns and other little songs. So you really would use either a classical or a acoustic. And then we'd have a contemporary service. You'd need electric guitar. And then maybe I'd do some songs for a youth group or things, and they really need a super electric guitar. I ended up, when you do contemporary services, I was usually standing holding a guitar. And what I used was a Les Paul style, both a Gibson and then an Epiphone. Usually I used an Epiphone the most. And those things are heavy. And that's what gives them that good sound. But they're heavy. And you're up there sweating and playing and lugging that thing around, and you're tripping over chords and knocking into other people, and you've got a piano and an organ and singers and just you name it. So it's tough. So, but I loved it. You love performing, no matter. That's what makes it good. It's like the guy who was the extra in movies all his life, and his friend went to see him, and on the set, and you could see he was been up all day and in the sun and in the heat, sweating, putting on a stupid dinosaur suit, and tripping over power chords and being yelled at, and couldn't eat and all day long. And then all the stuff they did at the time, they used film. The film was destroyed accidentally, so they would have to do it all again the next day. At the end of the day, his friend came up. He had paint all over his face. He was exhausted. Hadn't had much to eat. He was carrying this, lugging around this suit, and was sweaty and hot, and dusty and tired, and gonna have to go back and do it all over again. And the guy said, how can you stand this? You're, dusty and all this stuff. And the guy looks at him and says, yeah, ain't it great? And that's showbiz. That's what he liked to do. So that's why I lugged that guitar around. But then I got older and wiser, and I said, I need something that can do everything. So I went on a search, and I know nobody's going to really agree with me except a few people. And if you don't, send me those comments. I love to hear people say the most ridiculous things. And even if not, I'd love to hear what you have to say. So I went into these rooms where they have these guitars, and I'm playing these guitars, and I'm no great guitarist, but I'm playing my chords and my couple solos and fills, and I'm really listening for an ear for something that had a very penetrating sound. So in other words, which is more to do with the amp, but I wanted it to be able to sound unplugged with just acoustic and plugged. It had to be able to have different sounds, like good electric sounds without feedback. It had to have a good tone. So I'm playing all these guitars, and then this one was sitting there, one like this, and I had owned what's called an Applause, and Applause was the little bit cheaper brand for Ovation. And it actually was my first guitar. It was a big back. The back was huge. It was like 6 inches in the back. It's big, rounded. It's very tough to hold on to. And it was not an expensive guitar. I still have it. I love it. I still use it. It has a very big, bold sound, lots of bass. But it's a little awkward to stand and hold because you're really out there. And it had a rounded back, and I had a rounded front. Still do. So it was not a good match. And it was not a plug-in. Now you can get pickups that fit in there, but I wanted something that was built in because I had to do a lot of moving around and things. And sometimes the ones you just put in the guitar work fine until you have to move them and move around. So after playing all the guitars in those rooms, I said, yeah, well, these few here, there were like 2 or 3 that really were super. And then the next best one was the Ovation. So the guy came and said, well, what do you think? I said, well, I like, all of these are beautiful guitars and nice, but the Ovation's probably about the 3rd best, and these other 2 or 3 are better than them. And the guy laughed. I said, what is it? He said, well, this is they had just started this upscale room. And I had like a Martin and a Gibson and a Taylor, and they were super expensive, multiple thousands of dollars. And the Ovation I had was hundreds of dollars. And so the choice was made. And the other thing is, this is a very light guitar. It's hollow. Now let's talk about the back. This company was started by a man, his last name was Kaman, and Kaman, and he was very technologically built helicopters, and I don't know if he's still around. His company is, and they're very high tech, and I guess he either liked guitars or saw a market. And his first guitars, he looked at the sound back and did a lot of research, kind of the Yamaha approach to music. And if you know or remember the Vihuela, I think it's called, it's a Latin origin. One of the first guitars had a very rounded back, and in fact mariachi bands still use them, and all their guitars, or many of them, have rounded backs. And then he also found that he could make this shape with fiberglass. Now the original ones are much deeper, so it's a big, deeper thing. He made these with fiberglass, and he also made some of the first ones, the neck was a through neck. I think it was aluminum, and I think that some of them just had either like a tape or something on top of it, like a wrap, or printed wood on the aluminum. And the frets were built in. So pretty cheap way of doing it, but when you're in manufacturing, you look for things like that. But the other guitars, and they originally had a hole in the middle, like most guitars. But one of the other things he found is that by using the holes up here, that's where most of the sound would come out anyway. And the other thing is, if you're playing over the sound hole of a normal guitar, which would be here, you're going to be, you see your hand's going to be over the sound, where now these come out here. It has all the bracing and so forth. The things are nice. So I like this. It has a very nice neck. It's pretty slim, and it's got the rounded neck, D shape, I guess they would call it. It's got pretty decent tuners. This is an Ovation Celebrity Deluxe, I think it was at the time. This is about 15 years old. They still make it, one so super similar. And I think it's a Celebrity Elite Deluxe is the thin back. Now, then they have a Celebrity Elite, which is a mid back. They've started a new one. So it doesn't go way out here like the old ones. It's not this, it's in the middle. I've tried those guitars. They have a much better sound and projection for acoustic. So if I was doing that, I would do that more. Now here's the thing on this guitar at the time and still now is the electronics. You can see the little silver blob there. Let's take this out if I can get it out without killing myself. It pops out so easy unless you want it to pop out. It's a little bit of a pain. Here we go. There's the whole little module comes out. And what we have on it are a little strip of LED lights, and then which are all of the tones, all the letter names of the notes and the sharps. It has three little LEDs below that with a flat, in tune, and a sharp. It has one LED below that's the battery, and then it has some buttons. It has the button to pop the module out here. It has three little buttons. One is EQ in and out. Then there's a mid shift and a pre-shape. So there's three settings for the EQ. And then you have a little EQ. You have a volume, you have a bass, a mid, and a treble built in, which is pretty cool. Now the back takes a here. It has the little square 9-volt battery, which is cool. If you open these, some of them are just several AAA batteries put in this here, the little round ones. Yeah, there you go. YouTube strange things and other things, or inside of devices, or so forth. Anyway, it just has a little dual plug. This is a new battery, hopefully I got. Got to put it in there right. Story of my life. This little dude kind of fits right in there. Kind of just is in. Oh, is there a top to it? Well, dead again. Oh, no, the back of this. There it is. Look at that. It must have fallen right out. How about that? So it has a top to it. After you get that in, put that little sucker right there, and you're done. Then it clicks in, and I'm trying to give you a little, you can't see on the, kind of hard to see in there, ain't it? Anyway, it's in there. There's a little spring loader to pop it out, and there's the little thing that it locks up in. And it's a little fiddly for me to get in. I know some people just pop it right in, but I'm not one of them. There we go. And it clicks. So now, if you're going to turn it on, you can press that. There it is. And if I plug it, see, we're a little sharp. That's a A. That's a little sharp. I'm a little sharp all together. So forth, and then. Oh, that one's right on. See the green? Oh, that's right on. Right on. So we're a little sharp there in the thing. So there you have it. That's your, and the reason I like it is it's so can't see this on the blog, but so that's just with my fingers. You can do nice. Let me turn off my little device here. There we go. Turn off the tuner so don't run the battery down. But it's nice. It's got a nice little. So all unplugged, you can hear a little Saturday is kind of tough. It's kind of tough to. You can tell the it is out of tune there. Anyway, that's how the dog runs, and I like it because it can do all kind of different types of music. I'm kind of stuttering here a little bit all of a sudden. I think it is still early. I need my second cup of coffee. But I really like it. I would say go out there and try you some different guitars. And I know people who say, oh, well, I only play Gibson, but you know, listen, if you're not playing for anybody, you're not really doing anything. And I defy most people to tell me what a guitar is by just listening. The reason is with new amps, you can turn your double into a single coil and make it sound like a Strat or something else. Now I know people can hear what kind of guitar it is in some instances. But you can make, with modern things, you can make any guitar sound like anything. So if you want to hear me playing this, go over to Tony Underwood Music on YouTube or Spotify and listen in. And I do Facebook and Instagram Lives on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so check out Tony Underwood Music. Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, the whole thing. And I wasn't too interested in playing for you because, to be honest, I'm not a super fly guitarist. I'm not, Eddie Van Halen or any of these people. I'm not even, Richard Kamlick. Who's Richard Kamlick? I don't know. I don't know if he plays guitar or not, but I used a guitar. I make money with it. I mean, man, I made, $1,000 or more a week, playing my guitar. So doesn't matter what kind of guitar you have. Now, of course, we like Gibsons. I've got a beautiful Gibson I bought. I've had Gibsons in the past. Never had a Martin, but I've played them and Taylor. They're beautiful guitars, but get you a guitar that works for you. We'll talk a little bit more about how to get a guitar maybe in our next episode. We're getting close to the time out here. So I want to thank everybody for listening in. It's been a little bit of a stumble because I'm still not woke up, but anyway, go to all of my media and find out about me. And we'll be back next week. Send me your thoughts, your concerns. Tell me about your life. Send me questions. Anything about music and life, and we'll talk about it. And thank you so much for joining in, and we'll see you next week right here on Quiz the Music Man. Thank you.